Hello, you horrors. It's Christian Lavicum here, riffraff in the Rocky Horror Show. Time may be fleeting, but with this gang, madness has already taken control. Yes, it's time for rants in our pants. Are you ready for dawn?
That's my secret, Captain. I'm always angry.
Stacey.
I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested.
Amanda.
You know this, I just don't know if you know it.
Deanne.
I'm a dirty skunk! I'm a dirty skunk!
Really? Don't say I didn't warn you.
I'm Deanne doing the co-hosting today. With me is... Excuse me?
Co-hosting? You're hosting.
I'm hosting, but we're doing a co-hosting because we're tag teaming today.
That sounds perverted, but go on.
Anyway, as always, my grumpy ass sister Dawn is with us today.
And when the listeners hear why I'm grumpy, I think they'll understand, but go on.
Fair enough. Get out of my French toast, dog.
Stacey, get out of her French toast.
Stacey is not feeling well today, so she will not be with us. And Amanda, I'm assuming, is at work, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so it's just the sisters today.
What sister? What sister? I'm an only child, from what I hear.
You better stop. Just stop. Just stop. Let's not go. Let's not do this, okay?
I ain't doing anything.
Okay. Shall we start? Okay. You're good. You're. Oh, I hate you. I hate you.
I know.
All right, so I guess we're gonna start. Where should we start?
Well,
go ahead and start with what you wanted to talk about. What happened yesterday? Go ahead. It's normally I don't do the politics, but I'm going to let you take reins on what happened yesterday.
Well, I'm just going to give a side to the listening audience. I give a shit about what happens in my country and where me and my wife may end up, unlike my sister, who really could give a damn about where we end up. So I'll just give the Cliff Notes version so she can be totally comfortable in her own skin and be completely blissful and completely blind to everything that's going on. However, yesterday was the second No Kings protest. From what they're saying, the numbers were larger than the last one. The last one was almost record-breaking. So I haven't heard what the numbers are for this one. I will be totally honest, I was very nervous about attending this one. Unlike the last one where I was nervous, I did have a water bottle thrown at me, and there were a couple of close calls with some MAGA guys who kept driving their trucks very close to where I was. But shockingly enough, and to me, this was I feel, a positive. The last several protests I've attended, oh, dear God, please say this. Yeah, of course. There she is.
Huh?
Even in text, she interrupts. But all right. Wow.
I'll find out. I'll see.
No. She already posted it. She already texted. Like I said, even in text. She's here. She said it was about 7 million. But to me, it was still a good sign because I only saw, there was only like about, I'd have to say at the location I was at, maybe 5 people who passed by flipping us off or giving a thumbs down. And there was one guy in a motorcycle with a Trump flag hanging off the what do they call it? The bitch seat. But, and he was a little bitch, but I digress. The only scary moment, and again, I don't have total information on this because it literally just happened as I was walking to where I was at, is there was a individual who clearly was a counter protester who tried to swing his car as close as he could to the protesters to try them, knock them back. But what this dumbass didn't realize is there was a cop just yonder away from him, and he got pulled over.
I was just going to ask if was there a lot of police presence?
Not as much as there was on the last one, which was shocking considering all this shit that's been going on between ICE and protesting and all that other jazz. But, you know, like I said, for the most part, it was reasonably peaceful. There wasn't a lot of counter protesting. I don't know, and I'm going to be waiting to see my text alert go off. Basically, I don't know how it was in other places, but where I was, like I said, it was reasonably peaceful. I did have a person kind of laugh at me from their car because I have a bad knee. It gets worse as it gets colder. And at the time, I also had something going on with my pinky toe, which was throwing off my walking on both sides of the equation. So I stumbled a little, and I hear somebody laughing from their vehicle. Whatever. I don't give a shit. You know, it's like I left my cane at home. I should have brought it as a just in caser, but I didn't want it to hinder me either.
Right.
But yeah, for the most part, very peaceful. I will say this, and then we'll move on. The crowds that I saw from, say, Chicago, Idaho, Nebraska, mind you, these are red states, not Chicago, but Idaho and Nebraska. And I forget which other one, which is also a red state. To see it with nothing but a sea of people, all basically saying they fucking had it, that was very, very encouraging. Now, would I like to see that in Michigan? Absolutely. I don't think enough people, even though the numbers have gotten larger, I don't think enough people are still out there yet. I guarantee you, on my block, I was probably the only person that attended. But the whole thing, though, they interviewed one guy on the news, and he was at, I want to say, the Lansing protest, which that looked phenomenal. There was like, I'm not going to talk like a sea of people like you saw in like California or Chicago, but there was a lot of people down there. And they interviewed this one guy. He had to have been about maybe in his late 60s, maybe mid 70s. And he said, I'm here, even though I know it's not going to make a damn bit of difference. He's like, Washington's not giving a damn that we're out here. They're doing whatever the fuck they want. But at least we're telling them we're angry.
Mm.
So he says, will this protest do anything? No. But as the numbers keep growing, it's going to make them nervous. Very, very nervous. So that's my take on it. We can probably elaborate on it a little bit more in another show, but I just wanted to report I was very happy, considering everything in the last couple of weeks, that it did go by peacefully.
Everything looked peaceful from the small clips that I had seen.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't hear anything about people running in with their cars or shooting, or that everyone was worried about. I did see in some clips there was people getting out of their cars and getting people's faces and yelling at them, which honestly, I don't care politically if you want to get involved or not. Okay, I do, but in this case, I think you'll be able to agree with me on this. This is the one thing I thought was bizarre and disturbing. Okay, the counter protesters, their main thing is they don't like you basically going against anything the Don says or does.
Right.
But where I was at, you had a lot of these people, 70 age plus, okay? One of them was a Vietnam veteran. Another one was a Korean War veteran. And several of them were just ordinary citizens, but they were all of, older age. And you've always been told, respect your elders. Now, granted, respect is given or earned, not given. But these people, they're the ones who are out there because they've seen this shit before. Okay? And yet you have these assholes flipping them off. Little old ladies flipping off veterans. Yet they're supposed to be, oh, we support our troops, pay our troops, blah, blah, blah. And it just disturbs me of the lack of respect these people have for older folks, So that's the thing that always just absolutely bugs the shit out of me. They will give absolute reverence to a man who has a vagina for a neck, but they won't fucking give two shits to the grandmother who's just out there saying, look, we've seen this before. We don't want it to happen again for our grandkids. So it's just nuts. But like I said, to me, what I saw, it's getting smaller and smaller. So if I were Donnie, oh, lovely, there's a spider crawling up. Stay the fuck away from me, you arachnid little fucker.
Go get out the blowtorch.
Oh, you have no idea how much oh, you have to stop right there. You heard me talking about you. Keep going, you little bastard. Go, go, go. Amanda ain't here to save you. Go. I'll smash your little ass, and you're a big one, too. Holy shit. Hall, go away. Go. Or I'll smash you like a 45.
Just go smash it, since it's bugging you.
It's too tall now.
Oh.
Or too high. But believe me, I'll be keeping an eye on it. So if during the YouTube recording, people are like, what the hell is she looking at? I'm looking at something that probably will need to die.
Anywho, smash.
Yeah. Or Ben Grimm, it's clobbering time.
Right.
Anywho, but like I said, if I were him, I'd be nervous. If I were all of them, I'd be nervous. Because if we're growing and they're shrinking, he's losing support by hand and fist, or hand over fist. So if I were him, I would be very fucking nervous, like I am about this giant black spider on my ceiling right now. So, like, share, and subscribe, folks. Anyway.
You need someone to do something.
Well, now it's dancing, like Lionel Richie on the ceiling. Yeah. And it's just now sitting there going, okay, now what? I've already been threatened with bodily harm by that fat blob on the couch. What am I supposed to do? You go that? No, don't you go that way. Go that way. Now, will you stop dangling like us? Anyway, keep going.
Just get a damn newspaper or something and kill it and be done with it.
I can't reach it. I'm not that bloody tall.
Yeah, Zooks. Okay, hey, moving on. So we are going to discuss something that has me intrigued. And it was that apparently a review you did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so exactly what was that all about?
Well, a little backstory, and again, I'm going to keep glancing up, because if that thing gets anywhere near me, you're going to just see this phone fly. Anyway, I have a coworker who listens to Audible Smut. Okay?
Audible Smut.
Audible Smut. That's the best way I can word it.
Like porn?
Well, I would say softcore porn. I don't know how smutty it gets. I don't listen to it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Got it.
So she's talking about it all the time. She listens to it at work. Now I'm thinking, that's gotta be a little uncomfortable. I mean, yeah, your heart will race and you might breathe a little heavy, but you're working around people. Aren't you going to be a little nervous if you're like, yeah, take it, take it, take it?
Right.
So she keeps trying to convince, stop wiggling, motherfucker. Anyway, she keeps trying to convince me, of all people, to read it. I do not read, pardon me, let me rephrase that. I have not read smut since high school. And Redford Union had several smut books in the library. Did you know this?
Yes.
Yeah, I highlighted all the dirty parts. But yeah, it was Long Arm and Lone Star. Gee, I wonder why they called it Long Arm. Anyway, so I'm telling her I don't need to read smut. I have the real thing. So why would I want to read about it? So one day I'm on Twitter. Yes, it's Twitter. Fuck you, Elon. It's Twitter. And someone posted a picture. I can't send it to you because I'm on the Zoom call and I'm using my phone. But it's a book called, let me see if I swear, oh, wait, hold on. It's on my Audible account. Hopefully it's saved to that page. Probably didn't. But it was basically a picture of a woman. Yep, here it is. Almost dressed up like your Scarlett O'Hara, one of the farm maidens, you know, the ones that walk out in the pasture, the vapors. Anyway, the book is called Morning Glory Milking Farm.
Okay.
Now I'm going to try to get this picture up here. No, I don't want to preview it. No previewing. No previewing. I don't want it. No. Fucking hell. Anyway, it won't let me zoom in the picture, but I'll try to do my best.
And I gotta say, I got it eyes on.
Well, nope, it just
Nope, I don't see nothing.
Yeah, because it went to me. Motherfucker. Technical difficulties strikes again. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, for those who are not watching on YouTube,
Grabbing some water. So keep talking.
all right. For those who are not watching on YouTube, i.e. Spotify, it's a minotaur with a hairy little chest, I guess, and a maiden, a human maiden. Okay? And like I said, the name of the book is called Morning Glory Milking Farm. Okay? Now, what is so special about this book? Well, apparently, it's smut. I'm going to try to pop it back up again. Morning milking, blah, blah, blah. Morning milking glory. There we go. It's the only way I can remember it, because I have to read you this description. And, dare I say, the reviews. Okay? All right, so here is the summary of, this should be an Alan Walnuts thing for pillow stock, but oh well. Morning Glory Milking Farm. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial. Mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Also on the verge of moving into her parents' basement. When a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in a neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience necessary. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef with manly meaty endowments to match. Hands-on, work with minotaurs isn't something Violet ever considered as a career option, but she's determined to turn the opportunity into a reversal of fortune. When a stern, deep-voiced client begins to specifically request her for his sessions at the farm, maintaining her professionalism and keeping him out of her dreams is easier said than done. Violet is resolved to make a dent in her student loans and afford name-brand orange juice. And a one-sided crush on an out-of-her-league minotaur is not part of her plan, unless her feelings aren't so one-sided after all. So I'm going to use this moment to apologize about me ripping on you for 50 Shades of Grey. Because apparently there's another level to this. Okay, so the reviews. Because I'm thinking, well, holy shit. No one read this. right? Or no one listened to this book. Oh no, 1.4 thousand reviews tells me many people listen to this book. So here are some of the ratings, okay? I went in wanting to read it because it's basically been a meme since Book Talk found out about it. I left loving almost every minute of it, consuming it. Loved this book, started listening to it as a joke, but instantly got sucked in. I think I found my new genre.
Oh my.
This is much a C.M. Nacasta book. It's slow burn, cozy, a little boring, feels a little contemporary romance, but with a minotaur. They're a very sweet couple. He's kind, bossy, but not domineering, and just an all-around good guy. It's pretty vanilla. It was the perfect bedtime read. Yeah, I can imagine what you were doing at bedtime. The story is cute, sweet, and a lot of milk. Great voice acting as well. Trying to find the one I was just like, you think? Well, I can't find that one specifically. But there was one review goes, it was a very good story. It had a beginning, a middle, and an end. You
Wow.
think? You think? It had a beginning, a middle, and an end? Alrighty, okay.
Oh, were there any negatives besides yours?
No, my review wasn't for that one. I'm
Oh.
getting to my review, okay?
Okay, fair.
So, and to answer your question, were there negative reviews? Yes, but most of them were 3-star and up. Now, because I looked it up because I was curious of wondering, does this book actually exist? Audible has this thing where they go with what do you call it? The analytics, the algorithm. So they're like, oh, so you like the bizarre smut, huh? Have we got one for you? All right. So this book was called Alien Milking. All right. Or, pardon me, Milking the Alien Invaders.
Okay.
It's 43 minutes long. So I'm thinking this is like Pornhub. You only need 5 minutes. But this one was 43 minutes. Okay. And basically, I looked at my coworker, the one that's into this crazy crap, and I said, you know what? Fine. Hello, nice cat butt, hello. Her cat is on her lap, more or less.
Again, eating my hair again.
Yep. It's kind of like a snack time, I guess.
Pretty much.
Anywho, god damn that fucking thing. Oh great, it wants to move this way. You know what?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just look up as I'm telling you this. So I decided, what the hell, I'm going to listen to this book. And I will tell you, I almost did not get through it. Because it starts off with this girl being put into a pleasure suit with rings around her nipples, rings around her clitoris, whatever, ring around the rosy. Anyway, she gets, given a test run by the two subjects, or pardon me, the two scientists. They got to prepare her so she's ready to take their nice, big, juicy, girthy alien cock.
Oh, Lord.
And when it got to the fisting, I'm like, done, just done. But I am a never say die. I got through some, like, what was it? Neil deGrasse Tyson's Physics for People in a Hurry put me to sleep. But I was dedicated. I listened to the whole thing. Anywho, basically it ended with her resigning herself to a life of being part of an alien gangbang because whenever they came in her, she secreted something that would feed their army.
Ew.
Basically. I don't know where they were. I don't know if they were. It was coming out of her tits. Now that I remember correctly. So if she drank their jizz or they came in her, it would secrete through her nipples and
Ew.
yeah. I don't know how many of these bitches they had on the planet, but apparently she was their favorite because there was a alien gangbang. It was like, okay, my turn. Okay, my turn. Okay, you get here, I'll get here. So,
Yuck.
so henceforth, my review. The title of my review, What the Fuck? But I just put WTF. In my review, yes, there was a typo, but I'll read it the way it was intended. Ladies, I'm not here to judge what you listen to. I personally enjoy true crime and horror fiction genres. But this? No and by the way, this book was narrated by AI. I said, if no self-respecting human will read this, what does that tell you? Save your time, go find a hub, and then read some Chaucer. I mean, again, I'm not out to shame anyone, and I guess I just did, because apparently there is a market for this shit. But my point is that I just don't get it.
No.
I
Weird.
mean, I'm thinking whoever wrote the one about the Minotaur, yeah, I'm getting out of screen for a second, gotta itch my ankle. Whoever wrote the one about the Minotaur, I'm thinking it was somebody who played Dungeons and Dragons and went, you know what? We already kind of do this in D&D games. Why don't I write a book? There's obviously someone who will listen to it or read it. So it brings me to the question to you is, ever since 50 Shades of Grey, do you listen or read smut?
No. Nope. And I only read that book I gave it to peer pressure. The only reason I read it.
And what
honest.
did you think?
Yeah, you know, a little far-fetched. I'm on a lot of it. But it was okay.
Well, from what I'm to understand, the whole thing about 50 Shades of Grey, they're like, it was very unbelievable. It was very, it didn't, and this is from people I know who are into SMBD, or BDSM rather. Got a little dyslexic there. But they said it wasn't even, hello, cat.
Yeah, he's behind the computer.
It wasn't even that very in what's the word I'm looking for?
Believable?
Well, we already covered that, but just that they didn't. Oh, you little son of a bitch! Okay, you talk. I'm going to kill a spider.
Well, hold on. You just lost my screen.
Well,
there it is.
Then I got to kill a spider.
Well, then, God. Okay, I'm back. Dumb cat. Dawn is out killing a spider at the moment. Why? Because Dawn hates spiders. To say the least. And I'm being bombarded by a stupid cat. So, and he just lost my glasses. Dawn, you doing okay over there?
Hell, where'd he go?
I don't know. I'm not there.
I think I found him. I think I found him.
I don't know what Nugent did to my screen. Stupid cat. I don't know what he did to my. God damn it. Nugent.
If it makes you feel better, I see you.
Well, that's a positive at least, but I can't like stay on the screen because I don't know what the damn cat did.
I would try swiping it maybe. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you, but when I move my mouse, it disappears.
I don't know. Don't move your mouse.
Yeah, obviously. Dumb cat.
All right. I think I killed it. I stamped it a couple of times. I think it's definitely dead. Because if it can withstand my weight slamming down onto it twice, yeah.
Overkill?
No, just being on the air, just making sure,
Overkill.
if you say. But I
Anywho.
digress. They said usually in BDSM, it's you have the master and servant, so to speak. And I know I'm wording this incorrectly, but it's a mutual thing. It's
Right.
where the person who's the submissive is actually the one who's more in control than the dominant, because the submissive has a safe word, and the dominant has to stop if the safe word is used. So it's, even though you have the dynamic that one domineers over the other, it's actually mutual. It's equal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they said, listening to this, it wasn't like that really at all. I don't know. I've never read it, never had an interest in reading it. So I have no idea. And also, I'm not into BDSM. So I couldn't tell you one way or the other if it was like that or not.
Yeah.
But now I got let's play master and servant in my head.
Okay. Alrighty then.
I didn't mean now. Fuck no.
Ay vey. Ay vey. Anywho, I guess we'll go to a different subject. The John Candy I Like Me documentary, which I know you've seen.
Yep. And
I
in a
just
way,
watched it.
I wish Stacey was joining us, because, or if we would have had more, and this is not a knock, Stacey, so don't take it as such. If I would have known much more in advance, I would have invited someone that actually watched the documentary besides us to join in, because it definitely, let's just put it this way. I had a friend tell me months ago he got to see an early screening of it because he was randomly picked. And he sent me a message. He's like, I signed an notice. What is that?
No disclosure.
NDA.
No disclosure. Yeah.
Yeah. He'd signed one of those things that he wasn't allowed to say what he saw, but he did say this: I was not prepared. Get ready to cry. You were not going to be prepared. Now, I can't speak for you, and I didn't mean to jump in and almost take over, but I will say this: when you hear you are not prepared, you have certain things in your head. You almost like you're almost expecting to hear all the dark parts, and the of course his untimely passing in 1994. But it wasn't that at all. I mean, it was touching. It was painful in spots. And yeah, there were tears. There were definitely tears shed on that documentary. But I want to get your take on it first, because the way I'm going to take it is going to go a whole different way.
I'm sure. Well, I mean, first, how it starts in the very beginning. I mean, it starts at his funeral.
Yeah, with Dan Aykroyd doing the eulogy.
Yeah. And then they backtracked to when he was, I think, 5. I think that's how it started. And
5 years old.
they come to find out that his dad passed away of a massive heart attack on his 5th birthday, which is so sad.
That would fuck you up.
But, yeah, and they still had his birthday party, which is kind of crazy.
Well,
I mean, doing a 5-year-old, I understand, but
put it this way: the way they worded it in the documentary is no one could handle it. No one wanted to handle it because it's such a major thing to happen.
Right.
And now it's also on the same day as your child's birthday, who probably doesn't understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how old you were when the concept of death started creeping in, but I don't think the concept of death started creeping into me until like somewhere around 8, maybe 10 years old. So you don't really know what's going on. You just know Dad's no longer here.
Yeah.
So,
To answer your question on that, I think the concept of death with me was like when Mrs. Bell died.
yeah, we were like, how old were we? About in our teens?
Maybe, maybe, I think early teens. Early teens, if I
Okay.
remember correctly.
Yeah, because I don't think up until Mrs. Bell, and for those listening, Mrs. Bell was an older woman who lived at near the end of our block. She was very nice to kids. She, we would come and come to her fence, and she would give us candy. No, it wasn't like that.
No, she was just a sweet lady.
Yeah, and she would, she just liked the company. She liked, talking to us and listening to us talk to her and all that other stuff. So, she was a very, I want to say she was kind of a lonely lady who just enjoyed having the neighborhood kids, even if it meant they were coming because of the candy. At least she had company for like a couple hours a day,
Yeah. I remember that huge, big dog Corky she had.
Oh God. I just remember distinctly we came to see her during the winter and he peed and I just saw steam. It's like, what the fuck?
But I'm sorry, going back to John Candy, sorry.
Well, you were saying his father passed away when he was 5 on his birthday. And then if memory serves me correctly, didn't he pass away when Christopher Candy was 5?
That's okay. I don't remember.
I want to say he did.
It was close. It was close.
Well, you continue on. I'm going to Google it real quick just to see.
So another aspect of it that kind of got me was when Macaulay Culkin was talking about John Candy and how it was John Candy that first realized something was off with his dad. Always saying, everything okay at home? Everything okay? Everything good?
Yeah, he would always look kind of like side eye at the dad and just be like watching him.
Right. Like he knew. And then Macaulay saying, he wished, when he got into his formative teen years, he always wanted to have that, to get that, I guess, that get together with them, getting to be more of adults, and that just never happened.
Yeah, he passed away before he could.
Right.
But according to this, Chris Candy was actually 9 years old when John Candy passed away.
Oh, very close.
Right.
I think the thing that really got me in that documentary was when he was filming Wagons East, and he was in his, I think it was in his hotel room.
It kind of like what do you call those things? Airbnbs.
Yeah. But they weren't back. That's not what they were back then. But obviously,
right? Yeah, he rented a townhouse.
Yeah, and they said they found him in a chair with a Bible. But
yeah,
maybe I think he knew.
Well, the way the one actor worded it, it was like they found him. I didn't think he was in a chair. I thought he was on lying in bed.
It was
He was laying on his side with the Bible opened up to a passage.
Right.
And they said it was, and I don't know if he said this for dramatic effect. Who knows? I mean, he was just relaying what they told him when they found him. And he just equated it to, it was John trying to find his way home.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he knew, because, you watch the documentary and you realize he was a very devout Catholic. Yeah. So he probably did read the Bible periodically here and there. Who's to say? But I will say this before I jump to a couple of things when it's my turn. But when put it this way, people were telling me they started crying at the beginning with the Dan Aykroyd eulogy.
Right. I
was fine up until the Wagons East portion of it.
Yeah, me too.
And it was kind of, I want to say, touching and sweet and bizarre in a weird way, because Amanda got up. She didn't want to to see it because she knew it was sad. So she got up and left the room for a minute. She thought it would be like quick. Mm-mm. All of a sudden, I'm like, literally, normally when I watch TV, I have the footrest up and everything, but no, footrest down. I'm like literally like this, like watching. I'm glued. And they're describing how they found him and all that other stuff. And then you start hearing that song, the Every Time You Go Away song.
Mhm.
And I can't remember the artist's name off the top of my head, but she did a very haunting, sweet version of it. And I realize Amanda is now over my shoulder. And she slowly makes her way over to her side of the couch. And we're just watching. And I'm trying hard now not to cry about it. But it was just such a haunting moment. And that's when I lost it. I wasn't like ugly crying because I'm trying hard not to do it.
Yeah.
And I look over at Amanda and I can see her. Now, she is one of the most reserved people I know, but she does show emotion before anyone wonders if she does or not, if she's like, but no. But I can see she's getting all weepy-eyed as well. And I told her later, I said, I was trying so desperately not to cry, even though I had one little trickle come down. And she goes, you don't have to not try to cry around me. I said, it wasn't because I was afraid to cry. I just didn't want to have the dams burst on you, because if I start crying, you're going to start crying.
Yeah.
So we were both, I think, fighting it at that point. It was just a sweet documentary, but they left, I feel, a lot out.
Well, they probably didn't have a whole lot of time, you know?
Well, maybe not. I don't know, because I feel that there were some people they couldn't interview because obviously they passed away, but they obviously used archival footage of John Hughes, Harold Ramis. But one of the stories, and I just discovered this one recently, was you remember Tiny Lister? You might know him better as Zeus in the WWE.
Okay.
Okay. He also played in a movie called Armed and Dangerous with John Candy. And he was talking about how John Candy was his angel. He was like the sweetest guy. He absolutely was friendly to everyone. And, you know, there was a moment where one of the people that worked on the set, he let it slip that he was losing his apartment. And after, I think he was going to lose it probably within a week, he couldn't afford to pay on it. And he had a week to find a place to live. And everyone's, saying, oh, that sucks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm probably getting the story completely wrong, but the crux of it that I remember distinctly is John went to go hug him, and he slipped 10 grand into his pocket. That the guy didn't know about until he got home. So basically he saved the guy's, apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch the documentary, that's just the kind of guy he was. Even when he didn't have money at the beginning, they were saying he was the one that was always buying dinner for everybody, even though he was
the same amount of money.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just his nature. And I think they even touched on that in the documentary, because when his father died, he took it upon himself to take care of everybody. He became the man of the house, even though he had an older brother.
Right.
But, yeah, just stories like that. And another one I really wish they would have touched on, even though it's a fleeting story, but when he passed away, there was all those documentaries that were out there, or specials rather. They weren't necessarily documentaries, but one of them was on USA Network. They were doing an all-day John Candy movie marathon. And in between the movies, they would interview some of the co-stars to share memories of John Candy. And one of them was Ali Sheedy. And she was in probably one of my top 5, maybe top 3 favorite John Candy movies, which is Only the Lonely. And she said that there was a moment that after they were finished filming, he got her this giant gorilla, this giant stuffed gorilla. And he says, I want you to have this so you'll always have something to protect you nearby. And I thought that was touching because I don't know if she was going through something at the time and he was trying to look out for her as well. But that's just how he was. He was always trying to look out for other people. And it was, you just kind of wish he took more out for himself.
Yeah.
And well, you carry on because my next part's going to carry where it hit home for me. But go on.
Well, another part, I just had it in my head and it just went like, phew. Gotta love menopause. Anyway, right. I just had it in my head. I gotta think what it was. Oh, Macaulay Culkin, and I didn't realize how much of how John Hughes, is that how him and John, I didn't realize him and John Candy were that good at friends.
What, John Hughes and John Candy, or?
Yeah, John Hughes. Because they spent holidays together, vacations together. I didn't know any of that.
They touched on it a couple of times in some of the specials, like I said, that they had on him. I don't know. There's a book I have. It's called Laughing on the Outside. And it was an unauthorized biography of John Candy. And they said that they had a falling out near the end because I don't know. I'm horrible at this. They had some sort of disagreement where I guess, John Candy would always be like, oh, write something new for me. And, it's like, I don't have anything. But there was just some sort of falling out between the two. I'd have to reread it. But, yeah, they were very close. It was like one of the things they said about him was it was like John Hughes was in John Candy's head and pulling the lines out. Like, this is something John would say. This is something John would do. Stuff like that.
Well, what I also wasn't aware is Macaulay Culkin. I don't know. I keep reverting back to him because like everyone always thinks that Macaulay or Molly Ringwald or like the John Hughes people. You know what I mean? As far as starring in movies, but he said he only starred in 3 John Hughes movies, as well as Molly Ringwald, where John Candy starred in 7.
Right. I think if you think about it, he either starred or made appearances in.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Bunch of John Hughes movies, like Career Opportunities. He played the target manager at the very beginning of the movie. Some other John Hughes movies, Home Alone. That was a Christopher Columbus movie, but it was John Hughes production. Same thing. He wasn't in Breakfast Club, but he was in She's Having a Baby, which I thought was also a John Hughes thing. I'd have to double check that. But if you look at the correlation, and of course the most famous one that basically will pull at everyone's heartstrings every Thanksgiving is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And the one thing I thought, just diverting away slightly from the John Hughes, John Candy connection, is Ryan Reynolds pointing out how he would slip John Candy references into his movies. If you ever look, like there's a moment where Deadpool's reading a book and it's The Canadian Mounted, which he was reading in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles in the airport. In Deadpool and Wolverine, the station wagon is in the void. So
Easter eggs, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he would pepper in periodical little John Candy Easter eggs in his movies because of, he was a big fan. Now, do you mind if this is where I hijack things a little?
By all means.
Okay, the part that got me that really, really struck a nerve is, number one, we all are individual humans, okay? We all strive to be ourselves. But if there's any person, I mean, I've had people say my personality is similar to that of Ron Swanson in Parks and Recreations because I'm a carnivore at heart. And I also have this I care, but I don't care mentality. But if there's any human being that I've ever felt, and they touch on this, he was an everyman guy. You could see yourself in him and his characters. But it didn't hit me how close to home, similarity wise, that I felt to John Candy was this documentary because while I didn't experience death at a young age, I could definitely tell the old man was definitely not going to be in the picture. Okay? I think all of us kids knew that Elmer wasn't going to stay long. And for the record, no, folks, he didn't die until way later. He was just an abominable asshole. But
out of the picture.
yeah. But a lot of the stuff, like the trying to take care of people, paying when you don't yourself have the money, or you're making the same amount. I found a lot of that is what I do. But what really what really drove it home, is when they were talking about how, and there's a thing in there about how Chris Candy was shocked at how journalists would interview their father. It would always start off with, look at the fat guy, that kind of thing. Like one interviewer said, he's from SCV, or this is SCTV, and if you want to know how big SCTV is, look at the guy we're interviewing. That kind of thing. They would always single out his weight. And at one point he even said, I have no problem with my weight. Everyone else seems to have a problem. And even when he did start to try to lose weight, his agent would tell him, don't lose any more weight. You won't get the parts that you're perfect for, which is the larger character. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, this is me growing up, and even now that, I'm at probably not the heaviest I've ever been, but I'm getting there. But am I happy inside my own skin? No, but there are days I'm fine with it. But then someone has to turn around just when you're feeling okay and say something that totally throws your game off. And mine was, and this was recent, I've had two people. Now, mind you, I'm not losing weight, folks. I'm losing maybe an inch or two here, but that's neither here nor there. But I had two people go, are you losing weight? And I go, I wish. My knees wish. And they're like, well, it looks like you're losing weight. And I'm like, well, I appreciate your blindness. But, But one person that said it decided to go a step too far. And she didn't mean it to be that way. But she says, but I think you should go on Wegovy again. Go to Costco. It's cheaper there now. Go get the Wegovy. And I go, why? She goes, well, you're on the right track, but you need to lose weight. I'm concerned. And I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, do you think I'm not concerned at all? Do you think it's not in the back of my head about Monica passing away from a massive heart attack? Do you think it's not in my head at all about Mike and his ailments?
Mm-hmm.
All of this is always in my head, but, because people care, and some of them don't even know you, and they like to point out how fat you are. It's just, I can see how this poor guy, he was such a people pleaser, and he had to sit at these interviews with a smile on his face and try to laugh it off. But you could tell every single time that they would say something in regards to his weight, it's like, will you just shut the fuck up? They even said he didn't want to go see a doctor per se because, the doctor would say, well, you need to stop drinking and smoking and you need to lose some weight. And it's like, no, I like doing these things. Why would I want to quit them? And on the flip side, you got me who does see the doctor. And for 9 years, every time I walked in to my one doctor, she's no longer my doctor. She left the facility. The first words out of her mouth were always, I'm worried about your weight. What are you doing to change it? What are you doing to help yourself? What are you doing to do this? And it just seemed like I would tell her all the time, well, I'm cutting this. I'm trying this. I'm doing that. And she always gives me this look of, yeah, sure you are. So to hear how he was treated because of his size, and he had that comedic time that I don't think his comedic ability was in conjunction with his weight. Did it hurt? No. Did it help? Maybe. But it did pigeonhole him, I feel, because people wouldn't take a larger guy seriously as a leading man. Like, say, for instance, Only the Lonely. It was a comedy, but he was also a romantic lead, which, people are like, that's reserved for a Tom Cruise or a Brad Pitt or a Richard Gere type. And yet, he did a very, very good job. And a lot of people that watched that movie, granted, it wasn't like as big as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or Uncle Buck, it still showed and gave a mirror to those who aren't the Brad Pitts or the Richard Geres of the planet. That, all of us could be a leading actor in a weird way. And when I say that, I don't mean it insulting to John Candy, because the guy was phenomenally talented. I'm just saying, you could actually, what's the thing they always say when you watch a movie? You want to see a little bit of yourself. Okay? Now, I don't see anybody that comes even close to what I could identify with in a movie, except for, this is going to sound strange because I'm female, John Candy. Because he had a sweet vulnerability about him. He was very funny, and he could be serious when he wanted to be. So whenever I watched his movies, I could always see a piece of myself in those films. So when you hear people say, oh, well, he can't be a leading actor, he can't be a romantic lead, you're telling a good vast majority of people, yeah, this isn't going to be for you. You won't be able to get into this film at all. And I humbly disagree. Look at the two other ones. Delirious. Okay? Again, not one of his best films, but I still thought it was good. He played a soap opera writer that gets a head injury and somehow gets sucked into his own soap opera, where he's basically a lead. And I thought he did a really good job with it, for the same reasons as Only the Lonely. And then you get to JFK. All right? Now, I will say I've never seen JFK. Not my type of movie. But you do see the video clips of him acting in it, and it is such a departure from the movies he did do. You're blown away that this is the same guy who's like, sorry, folks, the park's closed. The moose out front should have told you. It's like literally night and day. So it just makes you sit back and wonder what could have been, because he had such range and it was just starting to be tapped. Yeah. So I will say, in all honesty, I don't know if they glossed over some spots, because like I said, the unauthorized biography, they even touched on very briefly one part that was mentioned in the book that wasn't mentioned in the documentary is he was touchy about his weight, just like I am. I have said it time and time again. No one, not even Amanda. I let her slide a few things because she doesn't say them as jokes. They're just like, my favorite one to this day is I asked her to take my picture. I was at the bottom of the stairs. She goes, "Does this thing have a wide angle lens?" And I'm looking at her like, "Are you fucking for real?" And she goes, "No, I want to get the whole shot." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course you did." Anyway,
In other words, hers are innocent.
exactly. Much like her buying me a scale for Christmas. For the record, folks, don't ever do that.
But very innocent, obviously.
Yeah, don't buy your loved one a scale. Yeah, she didn't know. She just was like, "Well, your old one was getting kind of broken down, so I wanted to get you a nice one." I'm like, "Not for Christmas."
That's reserved for birthdays.
And those are reserved for just because. I bought a new scale for the bathroom. I'm like, "Oh, cool."
Right.
But yes, she's very innocent in that regard. She's very left-brained. Which means she thinks logically, not emotionally. But basically, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, the thing about the documentary and the book. He was very touchy about people bringing up his weight. Like, for instance, in the book, they mentioned there was an unwritten rule. He had season tickets for the LA Kings for 3 seats, but he would only take one person because the other seat was resigned so he could be comfortable. But one time, one person brought up, "Hey, look, I'm kind of concerned about your weight, da 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 da." And he's like, yeah, I'm working on it, and then never talked to him again. And they touched on that in the documentary when they said a good friend of his brought up about his weight, and he's like, and then like a Rolodex took it out, like, "I don't want to talk to you again." I'm not saying I would go that far unless they were really hurtful about my weight, but yeah, people don't have to bring it up. Most overweight people are pretty self-aware about their size. So, I can understand and relate very hard about what was going through his head when people kept pointing it out.
Yeah.
And then, God forbid, he tries to do something about it, and then he's told, "Well, you're losing out on these roles if you're going to get skinny." And I hate to say it, they probably weren't wrong. Because look at what was his name? Oh dear God. You ever seen Varsity Blues?
Yeah.
You know the big guy?
Yeah, but I can't think of his name at the moment, but yes.
Yeah, I just know his character's name was Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
he could only get roles really when he was big. And he lost a ton of weight. But then he couldn't get the acting roles because they didn't want the skinny version of him. They wanted the bigger version of him. And I don't remember if he had passed away. Let me look it up. He did
I think
pass
he
away.
did.
Oh, no, he did. But I can't remember if he passed away from suicide or if he passed away from natural causes or what. But, yeah, it's tragic. No, I got it. But the whole thing is maybe John Candy was onto something when he's like, "Well, fine, fuck it, if I'm going to only be cast as a big guy, well, fine, I'm going to be big guy." But, oh yeah, Ron Lester. He, God damn, he was born in 1970, and he passed away in 2016, and he passed away of kidney failure.
Wow.
But at the same token, like I said, it's kind of tragic because if you look at his roles, when he was alive and acting, he was in, let's see, a movie called Drum Solo, The Karate Dog, Dill Scallion, The Fat Boy Chronicles, Good Burger, Not Another Teen Movie. You know, he wasn't in a lot of movies. He was only in, judging from the look of it, 1, 2, maybe 3 movies after he lost weight, compared to a majority of them while he was still big. And, you know, like I said, going back to John Candy, he, like I said, I don't know if his, I have a drinking game every time I say, like I said, but I don't know if him losing weight would have affected his acting gigs, but I don't think it would have affected it. He might have been pigeonholed for a long time, because look at the roles he was in prior to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. They were all, you know, he was the literal goofy sidekick type of guy. I don't want to say the loudmouth, because he wasn't necessarily loudmouth in Volunteers, but in the majority of his movies, he was basically the funny sidekick. He wasn't the leading man. But once he did like your Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, it opened the door, I think, for it. So if he would have lost weight, and considering how he did, and it was very critically acclaimed, his small bit in JFK, I think he probably could have succeeded beyond, you know, this version of him and that version of him. But we'll never know. The funny thing is I don't know if he said it just to say it for the camera, but like I said, there you go, drink again. He seemed happy with himself, but because other people were worried and kept pointing it out, maybe he wasn't as happy as or he was just saying it so people would be like, oh, he's fine. But the one thing that they brought that I knew about, but not to the severity, is the mud wrestling scene in Stripes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read and heard in many documentaries that he did not want to do that scene at all. He absolutely did not want to do it. And they're like, no. It'll be funny if you do it. Why? So he decides to do it. He doesn't want to take his shirt off. That was his, I'll do it, but I am not taking my shirt off. And these women were actually getting very physical with him, you know, pulling his ear and, you know, punching him and kicking him and shit. And he's not hitting back because, you know, he's not going to hit a woman. But it's just like, then to turn around, even though he's one of the funniest, you know, parts of that movie, to turn around and see critics refer to him as the pig in the mud or the elephant or whatever. And it's like, is that all you guys can think about? Like, really? Seriously? So, what would you give the documentary?
A rating?
Yeah, like say out of 5.
Oh, definitely a 5. 5+.
I would say a 5, but I really do wish, again, maybe because it was unauthorized, they're not going to touch on some other things, but I do wish they would have included some of the other stories from the movies. Like, for instance, he was actually a leading man in Armed and Dangerous. He was leading man in what was that movie? Oh my God. Because it has probably one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a comedy, and I am losing my fucking mind over it. But while I'm looking it up,
Who's the star? Who does it star?
Him and Eugene Levy. I know that helped.
I did not know until that documentary how long those guys actually knew one another. I had no idea.
Well, the funny thing about his relationship with them is the simple fact that he met Aykroyd during Children's Theater. They then got into the whole meeting the rest of the soon-to-be SCTV cast. And I had to look up what the fuck is Godspell. Because it doesn't scream like something I would want to watch, you know?
Wait, is John Candy and whom again? I'm sorry.
And what?
Whom? What you were just talking about? Whom?
It was Eugene Levy, Joe Flattery, and God, there were so many people. It was mostly an SCTV thing. Like, for instance, did you know he started with Richard Pryor in Brewster's Millions, which was a remake?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Oh, and he was also a featured voice in Heavy Metal, one of my favorite films.
I wasn't aware of that one.
He was also the voice in Hot to Trot. He directed the TV movie Hostage for a Day, which was, don't get me wrong, do not get me wrong, not the best movie. It was kind of a dud, but it still had its cute moments. Where is it? Oh my God. He was in Boris and Natasha. He got to bust oh, and he was in a horror movie, by the way.
Deadly Companion?
No. I can't find it at the moment. The Clown Murders.
Okay.
Okay, the movie I'm talking about is called Going Berserk.
Okay.
All right? And the scene in question is he's handcuffed to Ernie Hudson. All right? They escape jail. And the guy goes, I got to see my girl before I leave, before we go on the run. You know, before they do their Sidney Poitier Defiant Ones moment. So they get there, and first they're having an argument, the Ernie Hudson's character and his girlfriend. But then they start getting intimate, and he's like, can you leave? Well, how am I going to leave? I'm handcuffed to you. Just get outside the door. So sure enough, John Candy gets out the door. They close the door on the chain, and they start proceeding to fuck. And it's all physical comedy. If you get a chance to watch that scene, it's just funny as hell. I'm not doing it justice. But yeah, he was in a ton of fucking movies. And how did they word it during? He was in More Turkeys and Stuffing. And I'm thinking, they weren't exactly turkeys. Were they all great? They had their moments of, but
yeah,
as I pointed out, sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm looking at like Hostage for a Day.
That's the one he directed.
Find the Lady.
I've seen that.
Hercules in New York. The Last Polka.
That one was based off of the Schmangy brothers from SCTV.
Yeah, which I remember. Yeah, I remember that talk about that. Speed Zone.
That was a rip-off of the Cannonball Run.
Okay. The Clown Murders, I think you mentioned. She's having a baby. Going Berserk. A Silent Partner.
Don't really know too much about that one.
Heavy Metal. Once Upon a Crime.
Yeah, that one wasn't received very well. I think they said he did it solely as a favor to a friend.
Okay. 1941.
Spielberg film.
Volunteers.
That one was done not too long after Splash.
Then obviously like Little Shop of Horrors, JFK, Delirious, National Lampoon's Vacation, Canadian Bacon.
I just finished watching that before we started recording. That was a Michael Moore satire that wasn't that good, but it tried. But the funny thing is, if you watch it now, it's kind of too close to on the nose.
Who's Harry Crumb? Obviously, we have talked. I know we've done that one. Nothing But Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
The Blues Brothers. Then,
Orange Whip, Orange Whip, Orange Whip. 3 orange whips.
then obviously the ones he's most known for, like Summer Rental, Home Alone, Spaceballs, Cool Runnings, Great Outdoors. Yeah.
You want to hear a funny one? Okay, so after the documentary, I decided, you know what? I think I might want to go as a John Candy character. Dress up as a John Candy character for Halloween. Now, here's the problem. Where I work, you have to be seen at all times, okay? My original idea was a Mog. Be Barf.
That's what I was thinking.
You know? But the only problem is if you have to be seen at all times, you wear the makeup and it kind of gets lost in translation, especially with the ears. You can't wear a hat.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, what John Candy character besides Uncle Buck could I pull off? And then it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Dewey Oxburger. My friends call me Ox. As you can see, I have a little bit of a weight problem. Here's the thing, I'd have to shave my head.
Stripes.
Mm-hmm. And I can go down the street to Harry's Army Surplus and get the shirt, get the pants. I would just have to shave my head.
Okay. Would you really want to do that?
Amanda doesn't have a problem with it. And what's the problem with shaving your head? I went shopping. There's a woman with her head shaved. Granted, I don't think she was going through chemo or anything, but who cares? It grows back. Yeah. I have never been as hung up on my appearance as, say, you.
Hung up on my appearance.
Who wanted the Jordashes?
All right, back then. Not so much on it now.
Who wanted the Nikes?
Back then. Not so much now.
I'm saying, well, wait, hold on.
Okay.
How do you work out? Or why do you work out?
Stay healthy.
And if memory serves me correctly, after you went on a cruise, weren't you not so happy with how you looked in pictures?
All right, and?
My point is that, and this is not meant as a slam, you have been a little bit more conscientious about your appearance than I have ever been.
To be fair, I want to make sure I'm around like for a long time for my daughter.
And you think I don't?
For Jean?
No, you don't think I want to be around for Amanda?
No, that's not, I mean, you know, Jean's going to need care for the rest of her life.
Yes, I'm very aware
so
of that.
I want to make sure I'm here as long as possible for her.
And
I'm not going to be here forever.
Well, I know that. None of us are.
And the thought scares me. If something happens to me and Rob, granted, Robbie will take over, but how long? I don't ever want her put in a home. That's why I do these things.
I understand that. But to the original point is, if I shave my head, yeah, I'm going to get weird looks. Yeah, it's going to be kind of awkward going into a public restroom for a while. But I go into a public restroom now and I still get people looking at me funny. So what does it matter if I have hair or I don't?
True. Like you said, it does grow back.
So to me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm planning on going tomorrow to get my hair cut. And I'm going to get it cut real short. And when Halloween comes close, meow. I'm just going to give Amanda the clippers to go to town, have fun. And I'm going to have a picture taken of me, just like John Candy and Stripes, holding my hair going, and people can go, Hare Krishna, 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 Krishna. Ain't going to bother me because it is what it is. Yeah, it's getting colder, but if I go outside, I can wear a hat. I always do anyway. So it doesn't bother me. And if people at work give me a side-eyed glance, I'll be like, what's your problem? I can't shave my head. Did it ever occur? And I honestly, the ones that would have a problem, like, maybe I have someone that's fighting cancer. Do you ever think of that? How do you feel now? Just to make them feel like an asshole.
Right.
But the whole point is it doesn't bother me. Hell, I still want to get a freaking short mohawk, which I might grow into once I shave my head, if I still do it. Like I said,
You've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm getting at the age where, honestly, could give a rat's ass. I could give a rat's ass. If people have a problem with it, that's their problem. I'm totally fine with it.
We got about a half an hour roughly. So I would start talking about Halloween.
Well, can we talk about one thing first, so people at the very beginning of the show can see why I was grumpy?
Yes.
Okay. So, listening audience, be it on YouTube or on Spotify, remember, check us out. We are on Spotify at Rants in Our Pants, also on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell us how we're doing. Tell my sister maybe she's in the wrong here. So, I'm a little grumpy because you sent me a picture of my now great niece being born. I'm like, oh, okay. No. Baby shower happens, and guess who wasn't invited? Go ahead.
Great niece, first of all, but that's another story.
Niece, whatever. My point is, guess who wasn't invited to the baby shower, at least that I know? And for backstory, I had said a long time ago, I am very rarely on Facebook. Very rarely. It's almost like Haley's Comet, me going onto Facebook. Okay? If you want to find me, my phone number hasn't changed in almost 20 years. I'm on Instagram, and I'm talking family, not friends. I'm talking family. And I will admit wholeheartedly, I'm not exactly one to reach out and touch someone either. However, baby shower happens, and someone, looking at you, sis, posts pictures of a baby shower she got the honor to decorate for. And the decorations were lovely. But I'm thinking, I don't recall an invitation. Now, Amanda says, well, I was getting event reminders, but she didn't know what they were.
You didn't click on it?
She is
oblivious.
She is hardly on Facebook. She's on there a little bit more than me, and it's only because we're trying to get rid of these fucking cats. Okay? So when she saw event reminders, she didn't understand what the hell it was for. She's like, I don't know of any events. So she didn't say anything. But someone should have, maybe could have said something about, oh, are you going?
First of all.
Wait. And I'm not just saying this about you. Because I know other relatives I see on Instagram. No one reached out to me there. You can send a DM. And like I said, my phone number hasn't changed. So I'm like sitting there going, this is very peculiar. So go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I not mention to you that I was meeting Elizabeth to discuss decor? Did I not mention it?
You might have mentioned it, but guess what? You didn't say date.
I didn't know the date.
You didn't say where. You didn't say time. You just said you were meeting with them to discuss decor. You didn't say when the baby shower was, where the baby shower was, what time the baby shower was.
At that point, I didn't know.
But did you say anything thereafter?
Wait. So when the baby came early, didn't I tell you the shower was on hold because of that?
When you sent me the picture,
yeah.
Yes, you mentioned that at that time, even then, the date wasn't set because they weren't sure.
Right. I don't know.
So-
I guess I just assumed that you knew. So that's
No, I didn't have a clue.
obviously.
So you're going to have to forgive me if I felt a little hurt. And now, granted, Amanda brought up a good point, okay? And we'll get into Halloween, so I'm going to try to make this quick. Ever since Monica passed away, who did I always hide behind at family functions? And it's not because I hate hanging out with the family. Far from it. It's just I always hid behind Monica.
Mhm.
Okay? No Monica, nowhere to hide. You know?
Right.
So it's a little bit of an anxiety inducing thing to go out and hang with the family. And again, not because I don't want to. It's just there's just something that we're still working on, to try to figure out why it is that I have a hard time. And I think a lot of it has to do with because there's no Monica.
Yeah, I get it. But if it makes you feel any better, I actually didn't attend the shower. I just went the day before and decorated it.
Yeah, I feel loads better. But that's my point, though, is it just with people that have like a social anxiety situation, even if people, like I said, Amanda says, well, would you have attended anyway? And I said, I would have tried. The thing that hurts people is not to even be thought of to invite, even though they know you're probably not going to be there. That's the part that hurts. Is I wasn't even given at least as far as I know, because again, I'm not on Facebook. If I went in after we're done here and go on Facebook and saw an invitation, okay, I would feel bad. But again, how many times do I have to say I'm not on Facebook?
Right.
Maybe if I deactivated the account, I don't know.
I get it.
But like I said, I have a phone number that hasn't changed in almost 20 years. What stopped anyone?
I don't know. Why are you blaming me?
Because of all the people who could have said something, it could have been you. But again, if you didn't even stay for it or you didn't attend the thing, maybe it was just for close friends. I don't know. I don't know the whole situation. I just know it's a little. It just irked me a little bit, just a little bit. And again, if we have relatives and friends that are listening, you're probably taking this personally. Don't. It's just like I said, it hurt just a little bit.
Like I said, I just assumed that you saw it, but
Didn't. Matter of fact, I'll tell you the one, and then we'll get into Halloween. Excuse me. I guess Tia reached out to Amanda, and Amanda had to explain to her, Dawn's not on Facebook. If you want to reach out to her, and she even told Tia this. She's like, Dawn's phone number is the same. It has not changed. And I guess she's wondering if I still perform wedding ceremonies because she's now engaged.
Huh.
So I haven't heard from her yet, though.
Huh.
So I don't know. Oh, you didn't know she was engaged? It was on Facebook.
I have not been reached out to.
Well, you don't perform wedding ceremonies, do you? And I do wedding services generally for free. Although I do remember one person, I'm not going to say who, but one person who asked me to do their wedding ceremony, and they had mentioned they wanted to give me something like to pay me for it, and I think I said no, but they're like, oh, no, and they never did. Doesn't matter. Like I said, I generally do them for free anyway. It's like, don't say it and not do it.
Do I know that person?
I'm not going to say.
Fair enough.
Okay. But like I said, she hasn't reached out to me at all, so right back at you. Don't feel bad. I think she just wanted to see if I still do them. Maybe she already got somebody to perform the ceremony. I don't know. So And she, like I said, she only reached out to Amanda, not me.
On that note,
Now, speaking of other scary things, go ahead.
where are we going? Oh, Halloween. Shit.
Yeah, because our next show is, 2 weeks from now, so we'll really be touching on it because that's
no, it'd be afterward. It's after.
I know, but it'll still be around about a couple days after Halloween, which is Amanda's and my wedding anniversary.
It was bad. There's several things going on right there. So obviously your anniversary,
Rob's birthday,
Jean's birthday,
right, and Steve's isn't too far away from that, is it?
16th.
It's still not that far away.
Yeah. My God, Jean's gonna be 30.
Hard to believe, huh?
No, you ain't lying. My God. Oh, and your Halloween. What do you want to discuss about Halloween?
Halloween. In this town we call home. Everyone hails to the pumpkin song. La 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 la.
The fuck? What was that?
Nightmare Before Christmas. It's the opening song.
I have not actually sat through that whole entire movie.
Oh, you're one of those that can't stand it?
No, I just haven't had no desire to watch it. Maybe I should.
It's a sweet movie. Some people don't like it, and that's fine.
Wait, if it's Nightmare Before Christmas, why is it Halloween?
Because it's about the ruler of Halloween Town getting bored with the same thing every year, so he decides to take over Christmas. It's more of a Christmas movie than it is a Halloween movie.
But it's related to as a Halloween movie?
I think it could be, but it's like I said, it's more of a Christmas movie because he wants to take over Christmas because he's so tired of every year the same thing day in, day out in Halloween Town. So he decides, well, by accident, he finds Christmas Town and he decides he loves it and he wants to take it over. Okay. Or at least borrow it for a year.
Fair enough.
So
okay. So going, well, I can't talk right now. I know what your favorite costume was when we were kids. The Pac-Man, if I remember correctly.
No. Okay. I hated that costume.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and I'm sure you still have nightmares regarding puking in it, but that's another story.
Ironically, I should have puked in the head. I should have.
I know.
Instead of all the way down the police station. But they found me.
Yeah, the trail.
It is what it is.
But honestly, my favorite costume that I can recall was that kangaroo mom made me.
I barely remember that.
But cute. It was. I remember it was warm. It was I think it was. If I remember rightly, it was a one piece. I think it was 2-piece, the whole bodysuit and then a head. If I remember rightly, and then she made a pouch for the candy.
Okay. Now, see, the one thing people have to understand is our mother was very creative with costumes. She made me Babar the elephant, or Babar, and she used a milk carton for the base and gave me the ears and all that other jazz.
Get out of my French toast. Sorry.
I beg your pardon?
Cats eat my French toast. Well, shit, he ate it already. Might as well give it to him.
Yeah, I was about to say sharing's caring. And then you said she made the kangaroo outfit so they could put the candy in your pouch.
Yeah, there was a pouch in the front.
Was the pouch?
Huh?
How deep was the pouch?
It was pretty deep. Problem is, it got heavy. I remember that much.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're carrying God knows how much candy in your crotch, of course.
Yeah, you get a little front heavy.
Timber!
Right. That was the one I vividly remember. I mean, there were other ones, but that one was.
There were some I wish I liked more. if it wasn't for people taking a sensitive child and making them traumatized with it. Like the Planet of the Apes. I was looking so forward to being an ape. Okay?
Right.
And we go into places and they're all, look at the cat's ass. Look at the cat's ass. No, they would look at me and go, look at the ugly monkey. Look at the ugly monkey. And I was traumatized. I remember crying, going back to, I think it was Monica took us out, crying to her, I don't want to be this anymore. People keep saying I'm ugly. But I would say, honestly, my favorite costume is one I always go back to. And sometimes I amalgamate it a little bit, as Jason Voorhees. Like one time I dressed up as a cross between Leatherface and Jason Voorhees. From the neck down, I was Leatherface. From the neck up, I was Jason. Scared the fuck out of a lot of kids. But growing up, costume-wise, I don't think I really had a specific favorite. The reason why I loathed the Pac-Man one so much, even though Mom did everything she could, is, one, it's hot in that helmet, number one. Number two, too many people are banging on the fucking thing, and it got just fucking loud. And last but not least, you eat a ton of beef stew before you go trick-or-treating and see how you feel in a sweat box.
The smell from the hodgepodge was not pleasant either.
No. But what would be, I don't know, you said favorite costume. I know we've talked about movies before, but as far as, and I know we probably talked about this, but I'm not sure. Favorite part of trick-or-treating.
Favorite part?
Yeah. I'm genuinely curious because we always talk about our favorite candies that we've got, and how so you go to some places and they either gave you a toothbrush, money, or a stupid religious comic book.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I know what house is going to be TP'd next year.
Yeah.
But what's the one thing about trick-or-treating that you enjoyed?
So there are a couple. So I remember back in the day.
You're stealing my lines. Thank you.
When McDonald's used to give those McDonald bucks, I think they were called.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, and you could redeem
about
them for food. Remember that?
Which one?
You could redeem those McDonald bucks.
Oh yeah,
food.
like you could get like an apple pie, or you could get like maybe small fries or something like that.
Exactly, which they don't do anymore. I vividly.
Well, you could still get those buckets. Which, do you know if they're doing that this year?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. It's not like I ever go there, but
I refuse to go there right now.
But businesses used to give out stuff. Like I remember we went to Primo's when it was up there in 5 Mile near beach, and we would go in there. They would give you a slice of pizza.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome.
They were very popular.
Very much so. They don't do that nowadays.
No,
businesses like that.
I think. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it's sad.
Well, I don't know if you can honestly blame current climate or even the pandemic for the change in it, because it's been gradually changing over time. Because I just remember, like, my favorite, honestly, this is going to sound insane, and it makes me envious of trick-or-treaters that are out there now and nostalgic, is the walking. We would start at like 4, maybe 5 o'clock, and we wouldn't come back till almost 9:30.
Yeah.
We were out there for hours, and I think we covered a good portion of Redford Township just walking house to house. And the smell of the leaves, the crunching of the leaves under your feet, and the occasional throw the apple down the street because there might be a razor blade in it. I mean, that's the part that I loved. And over the years, I mean, you get your ebb and flows. I don't think we've had a heavy flow of trick-or-treaters because I think people are a little bit, one, they don't want to have their kids walking all over the place. Because you see most people drive, they see a light on, they'll stop, kids get out, they get the candy, go back in the car, go to the next house that the lights are on. It's almost like, I want to say, in a weird way, maybe a distrustful atmosphere, that they're afraid, to send their kids out trick-or-treating because God knows what, because you can't really trust too many people nowadays.
Mhm.
And then you got the invention of, I think it gets a bad rap. Let me put it this way.
Trunk or treat?
Yes, it gets a bad rap. Matter of fact, I was driving yesterday, and they were doing trunk or treat at the Moose Lodge on Warren Avenue. And I'm thinking, isn't it a little early for trunk or treat? And then I saw the Hype Fitness Center at Warren and Telegraph, almost, or might as well just say Outer Drive practically, but they're having theirs on Devil's Night. And I'm just thinking, it gets a bad rap because that's not how we trick-or-treated. But
Right.
if you think about it, all right, it's kind of a safer approach for kids. Because all they have to do is go in this line of cars, and people are next to each other, so you know what they're doing, are giving out candy. It's, I think, a little bit safer for them. Now, does it take a lot out of the tradition and the nostalgia? Yes, it does.
Mhm.
But I think its purpose doesn't deserve quite the hate it gets. Because, trunk or treat. We didn't trunk or treat with kids. We hauled ass and we liked it. But yeah, guess what? You're not going to get a full-size candy bar now, are you? They're all fun size now. But, because who's going to spend $80? This is no joke. Who's going to spend $80 at GFS for a case of 40 candy bars?
$80 at GFS?
Yes.
20 something at Costco.
Well, that's what I'm saying. These are full-size candy bars.
Right.
And it's only 40 of them for $80. And I'm like, no. I like Halloween, but I don't like investing that much for it. No. I mean, you go to Costco, you can get, I don't even know how heavy that bag is, but I know you get they call it the fun bag.
Yeah.
That sounds hilarious. At Kroger for $9.99 for Tootsie Rolls, Tootsie Roll Pops, the gumdrops, the button, whatever they call them, the dots. And that's $9.99. That's a 3.5 pound bag. The ones at Costco, it's larger, it's definitely heavier, and it has the brand name fun sizes. And you spend rounded up $20.
Yeah, they do have the full size. I was actually at Costco 2 weeks ago, and they had 2 weeks ago they had the full size candy bars. I think it was like 22, 40
But how
pounds,
many?
like the same, like 40 bars or so. I want to say.
Well, then I don't know what GFS's problem is, but that was I even showed a man. I'm like, no fucking way, absolutely no fucking way, because I wanted to hit them first before we went to Costco. But
Yeah.
the point about, like I said, trick or treating, we're probably gonna. I got extra candy this year because I told you the story of last year.
Right.
We only got one trick or treater. This poor kid on his own. He wasn't even wearing a costume. And he barely had less than a quarter of candy in his backpack. And I felt bad for him. I mean, he was, like I said, on his own, didn't have anyone else. We were about ready to turn the lights off and go to bed. And I said, you know what? This is your lucky day. Is it just you? You see anyone else coming? He goes, no. I said, stay right there. Grab the bowl, dump the whole bowl in his bag. Grab the remaining bag, dump the remaining bag in his bowl or in his backpack. And he was just so overcome with he hit the mother load. And he goes, what's your name? I go, Dawn. I'm Michael. Can I give you a hug? I go, sure. So because my neighbor, I should send you the video. It's so hilarious. His wife, over the course of the last 3 weeks, has added more and more and more to their house. And he couldn't understand why people were stopping in front. I'm like, you can't understand? You got a giant spider web coming down from your house. You've got a giant dismembered thing an inflatable thing behind the spider web. You got an inflatable other thing on the other side, 3 witches around a cauldron. You got little Chucky heads surrounding your bush, pardon the expression, surrounding your bushes. And then you got Chucky and Tiffany in the front yard and an animatronic gunslinger, basically who's like, I'm gonna shoot you and send you to the gunfight in the sky. Da, da, da. You can't figure out why they're stopping.
Right.
So I got, and then I guess further down the other way, another neighbor has got their house decked out. So, and my other neighbor was saying, he brings in the most important stuff before he goes to bed. The inflatable shit can stay out. But the animatronic gunslinger and the Chucky and Tiffany, they come in. So I got a hunch between him and this house down the street, who are just about equally decorative, we're probably going to see an influx of trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. Would they be on a Friday?
Well, with all the people, and with all the people that have been stopping in front of his house, they already know where they're going to hit.
Right.
So here, the downside though is me and Amanda won't get home or get off work until about 6:30. We're going out to dinner immediately after because it's our anniversary. So by the time we get home, if there's any trick-or-treaters left, I'll be stunned. I'm half tempted just to say, hey, Dex, could you take this bag of candy and say this is from our house as well? We're going out to dinner where we won't be home till like probably 8 o'clock. But that's what happened last year, and we got the one trick-or-treater. So
I don't know.
And since it's a Friday night, like you said, and I looked at Amanda, I said, and we'll probably go into more of this on the next show, but I said, it's our anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking heavenward, da, 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 da. I'm like, should we have an adult beverage, or should we stay sober until we're sure there's no more trick-or-treaters? Yeah. She's like, ooh, I don't know. One of us can have one.
Wow.
Yeah, I wonder who the one is going to be.
Right. Well, I'm doing what Mom used to do. I actually got to do what Mom used to do, what Mom used to give out every year.
Fago and potato chips?
Just the Fago. I already got it all.
How many do you average?
Year to year, it varies year to year. Last year, we had 70, 80. The year before that, not as many. The most we've had is over 100.
Yeah, I think back when I used to decorate the house full bore, we would get close to 100. But since I stopped taking all my stuff out because one asshole had to steal one thing, it went into a little bit of a slide. And not to mention, like I said, parents nowadays don't want to take their kids out for all night trick-or-treating when all they have to do is do the trunk or treats and bada bing bada boom.
Yeah.
The older kids, however, I don't think they get to participate in trunk or treat, do they?
Probably not. I think it's based more for the younger side. Like down at Claude Allison down the street for me, they're doing trail or treat, where they walk the. I know you're like, what the hell is that? I had
to think about it for a second. Then I remembered they had the walking trail.
Yeah, so there's just there's gonna be all these different people lined up around the track or whatever you want to call it, and there's like different tables that they stop at.
Well, here's a strange question: can you only go through it once?
I believe so.
Oh, that's stupid.
But there's I think there's a lot of them set up. So. But then again, who's to stop them from going through again? I mean, I've never been over there. I just know it's freaking packed.
Now, do they also have the cops still scanning the candy?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know either. As far as I know, here I don't think the police stations are open for them to check candy. They do say usually on the news where they do check it periodically, but I don't pay attention.
I mean, when was the last time I took a kid out trick-or-treating? A long time. Long time.
I was about to say 20 years? Maybe?
It's been a minute. And Jean, I mean, she always says, "We're gonna pass out candy." Like, I don't. She goes, "I don't want to go trick or treat." I'm like, "Jean, you're almost 30. You're not going. You're a little too old to go trick or treat." Even though she could pass as a teenager, she gets tired anyway. Because I'd have to. I mean, I'd have to wheel her in a wheelchair if she really wanted to go. But she prefers to sit outside for the whole 10 minutes or so and pass out candy.
Yeah, but if you ever want to get creative,
Yeah.
you can take a wheelchair and design it into something like a chariot or a TIE fighter or something to that nature that she can, it's basically her chair becomes the costume.
Yeah, she's a Wanu.
I don't necessarily blame her. But like I said, to me, we haven't carved pumpkins.
I haven't done that in I don't know how long.
That used to be the thing we would do every year. And now I think I don't know if she's at the age she's just tired of it, but she just gets so tired. She's like, my arm hurts from scooping the pumpkin. I'm like, would you like me to scoop the pumpkin? You just design it.
Right.
She's like, no. But I know she misses it. So one of these years, I'm just going to surprise her and just, look, I'll scoop the pumpkins. You just do the design.
There you go. I don't even know how much time. I don't know. I have no idea how much time we have left. I think it's probably a few. Probably like 5 minutes. I think it's like 5 minutes.
Did you put the timer on?
It's like 5 minutes.
Okay. So how do you want to end it? This is your send off.
I don't know. I'm at a loss today.
What about, if I may feed you what subject real quick? Lions.
What about them?
Weren't they on Sunday Night Football recently?
Hey. Sorry, that was the dog. You mean the game that I feel they were screwed over? Yeah.
You and everybody else in the country, except for Kansas City.
Of course. I mean, come on, no penalties, even though there were plenty of penalties that could have been called.
I didn't watch it because I knew they were going to get hosed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I heard all about it, and then of course the fight afterward.
Yeah, I mean, granted, yes, Brian Branch should have, composed himself, but you don't do that. You just don't do that.
Yeah, they were going to raise a bitch anyway because Mahomes reached out his hand to shake his hand after the game. And he's like, nah.
From what I understand, and I didn't see this, from what things I've heard is Mahomes was taunting Branch several times throughout the game. Is that accurate? I don't know.
Which would sound like something Mahomes would do because he's a cocky little fuck.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, plus I think he got blocked in the back and that wasn't called. Brian Branch, that is.
Right.
The catch that Mr. Kelsey apparently caught and didn't, because he clearly hit the ground before he even caught it, but they ruled it a catch. So whatever.
So who are they playing today? Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow they're playing Tampa at home.
Okay. And what's their score so far? Or not their score, their win-loss? Yeah.
4-2.
How good are Tampa?
I think their record's pretty close. I think it's either matching or right in the same realm, if I'm not mistaken. I can look at my fantasy football real quick and tell you.
Nah, I think
Too late there.
Of course you are.
They are shut up. They are, where the hell? Where are they? Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay.
One more time. Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. I'm afraid to type it because now it's going to come up my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. They are currently 5-1. So the record's better.
Ah, so this is going to be a good game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the odds are?
The Lions are favored, but I probably because they're at home, so who knows? It could go either way,
Okay.
obviously.
And the last one I'll ask of you,
Mm-hmm.
because honestly, I'm shocked we haven't touched on it at all.
The Tigers.
No.
Oh.
We haven't touched on the Lions at all.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we're running out of time.
Well, let me just ask, do you think they're Super Bowl bound?
I think they have a shot.
I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic.
I mean, I don't think they're going to go 15-2 like they did last year, because they would have to win out at this point to make that record again.
They did it before.
Yeah, but I just don't see them, winning out to get 15-2.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. But here nor there. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I think we're pretty much out of time. So we're gonna end it. Yay. So, and what? What are you shaking your head?
Do the outro.
I'm doing it. Shut up. Until 2 weeks, when what date will that be? I don't even know.
Beats me. We'll figure it out.
November? Yeah, well, it'll be in November. That's all I know. So, shut up. Anywho, for myself and Caesar over here,
Hello. Goodbye.
Stacy and Amanda, until next time, keep your reins in your pants. And then Stacy's not here. We're just going to sign
the show.
That's all, folks.